Welcome to this Farming Simulator 19 new mod map tour with me, MrSealyp. I'm standing in Poland. Well, not the actual Poland, obviously. We are on Wola Zabierzowska. This is a new-ish map by Xylak 04, or 04 actually. I am a little bit late to the party on this. I totally understand that. I hope you find it useful, though it's a couple of days behind. This came out on Friday the 18th, but obviously I was off on my way to Poland, actually going to the real Poland, for Tournament 5 of the Farming Simulator League with Giants. So I didn't get a chance to go over the map, I didn't get a chance to post a video on it. So this is my look around the map. Right, so where do we start? Well, we are pretty much central, but we are south of the midpoint of the map, so we're down the bottom part of the map, but we are kind of central, as in halfway across the map. We start down here in this little village, but interesting enough, not at a farm. We just start outside a little shop. There are 4 farms on this map with 4 separate farmhouses, so you can skip through the night at any of them, which is not unusual for maps. You don't often get 4 farms. This will be another one of those ones which is fantastic for multiplayer, and as you can see by that patchwork quilt of fields, there are 200 fields, I believe, on this, and this is, I like this. This would be a very good start from scratch map. This would be great for probably beginners to the game, I guess, because the field prices aren't too expensive, and because they're in little strips, and you can buy small bits as you go and gradually build up, whereas often field prices are quite expensive, and you have to, if you're going to do it like that, you've got to build up quite a head of money before you can buy your next field. On this map you don't have to. You can build up a little bit of money, buy the next part of the field, do some work, build, and you feel like you're making progress at a much steadier rate. I think it's kind of the way to go with it. Now, biogas plant on this, as with most maps, you do have to buy and own for it to work. That's only 60,830, so not too expensive. What do we start with? Well, I'm on New Farmer, and I've got this on normal mode. So on New Farmer, we start off with field 92, 90, 87. We've got a little strip of land here, right by where we actually are. I think there's a bit of a grass bit here. Part of one of the farms up the top here with 115, 104, 105, 107, 111, 113. So a few small little fields. And on New Farmer mode, we have used already 730 out of 1299 slots. However, if you start on Farm Manager mode, you've only used 532, and if you start from scratch, you've also only used 532 slots. So what I'm saying as well, field price wise, that one there's 56 grand, field 77. Let's try and find some small ones. Well, these tiny ones up the top here, 106 is 7,500, 108 is 5,600. Then if we move down to a slightly bigger one, field 130, 116,000. So if you wanted to run through a strip of fields, I mean, you could start for, like I say, for example, field 42. I know it's kind of self-explanatory, 23 grand. Then by the next strip next to it for another 13. Then the next strip next to that for another 20. And you could gradually build, work your way across there. And then if you wanted to, plough them all together, massive fields. It's a good way of doing it. I like that. Contracts are available. Just there. I'm not sure. A question was asked, actually. I was talking to Virtual Farmer at the weekend, and we were saying about certain maps, and he said he likes it when the maps have got contracts on a lot of the fields. Some maps coming out do have contracts available, but only on a very limited selection of fields. I don't know whether it's because it's hard to run the contracts on more fields, or I'm not sure. So I don't know how many fields there are contracts on, but there are definitely contracts on the fields. So what we're going to do is we're going to head round the map. We're going to have a look around. I'll start on foot. When we get to our first vehicle, we'll have a bit of a trundle around in one of the tractors. We're going to head kind of south at the moment, down towards the main store. Because this is made by Xylak 04, this is very reminiscent of Lipinki. It's got a very Staroese feel to it as well, because they're Polish maps. That's kind of the feel they're going for. Lots of detail, lots of nice little buildings and stuff scattered all over the place. One thing I'm not too sure about, I'm kind of torn on this at the moment, is the maps, and you get it quite a lot on a lot of maps now, is where you've got these random people wandering around at set intervals I sometimes think in certain areas, in like built-up areas, towns, whatever, yeah, maybe have a few. But on some maps you wonder, is it necessary to have them? I know it kind of adds a bit of animation to the map, it brings it to life a little bit. That's just a personal opinion, you know. I just think sometimes when it's like this, it just feels a little bit contrived, like it's just been put on, not for the sake of it, but you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, that being said, let's go down this way. So we look down the mini-map down the bottom, we are sort of headed south, and we're going to come to the main store, which appears to be a bit of a John Deere Fendt dealership, bit of aggro mash, bit of everything going on here. The traffic on this map is insane, and the colour palette choose for a lot of the vehicles is quite interesting. We've got a lot of bright green, which is like sort of MrSealyp green, and pinks and things like that. We have got a lime buy point just here. The work point, configuration point, repair point, sell point is just here. If you want to do it from the actual buy point rather than going through your main menu, if we come in, we've got it just here with a cash point too. So we can go in to our menu from there. So that's the main store. We're going to go around in a kind of clockwise way. I need to be careful of the traffic. Now, one of the big differences I've noticed on this one compared to Lipinki had what I always refer to as undulations, but they were quite steep valleys. It was kind of carved. It was felt like a much smaller map. This has got more sweeping countryside. It has got kind of rolling hills in a better way of putting it, and it feels much more open. Great thing about it is, would you be using massive equipment on here? Probably not if you're sticking to what would be used in the area kind of thing. However, you could get away with it because there aren't any hedges and fences and stuff in the way. So if you wanted to drive across the map with machinery, you absolutely could. And the great thing with the landscaping tool now as well is that you can where am I going? You can put in tracks and stuff yourself. So if you wanted to, you absolutely could. So the next of the sell points is just here. This is the Spinnery, as you can probably already tell. I do like the fact, I know not everyone likes it, but I think if you're new to the game, if you're new to a map, having the hazard marked areas so you know exactly where your sell point is very handy. Some maps come out and they don't have them, and it can often be tricky to work out exactly where you need to dump whatever it is you're taking to sell. So carrying on. So we're now heading into the southwest corner of the map. So down here we've got the first of the farms we're going to come to. It's not necessarily the first of the farms, but the first of the farms we're going to come to. There's also a fuel station down here, and the pigs are down here. Now, on new farmer mode, which we're on, we start with a load of stuff, and we start with a lot of buildings, a lot of equipment, and there are a lot of modded buildings on this, but they're only available on this map. They haven't been released as a pack or anything. If you start on Farm Manager or start from scratch, none of the buildings are here. So this plot, for example, would be empty, bereft of buildings, but we still start with all the machinery. So this is the first of the farmhouses. We go up, like so. And this is the first of our silos. Actually, now's probably a good point to have a look at that. So, garage. We start with the Fendt 313 Vario. We've got a Valtra A114, Bison, Forestry HW80, the header for the Bison, and we've got a small plough, a cultivator, the Amazon D830 seeder, we've got a sprayer, weight, and then we start in on the buildings. As you can see, they also mod at the bottom. So we've got a modded cow pasture, we've got a modded pig enclosure, sheep pasture, horse paddock, chicken coop. Then we've got standard grain silo, then we're on to, and the grain silos are dotted around the different farms as well. And then we've got some modded ones here. Now these take standard crop types, they don't take any of the additional, they're not multi-fruit ones or anything like that. We do have a small bunker silo, the ones with the tyres, again a modded one. And we've got a few modded garages and sheds and things like that we start with. So like I say, if you come onto this, and there's all sorts of stuff, there's a wood chip pile, there's all sorts of accessories that kind of are on the map. And you don't start with any of that on Farm Manager or start from scratch. So as we scroll across, like I say, sand pits and trash bins, the 4 different farmhouses you don't start with. Now the problem with that is, and you have to be careful, if you come on and you start on Farm Manager or start from scratch, Normally when you place a farmhouse, if you try and place a second one, it says you can only have one of those per map. So unless you're playing on multiplayer, which will let you have separate farmhouses for each of the separate farms on multiplayer, if you're playing on your own, you would not then be able to place 4 farmhouses. So it becomes a choice then. Do you take a hit on the slot count, which is console only, but the actual slots for these aren't too high. Often we get maps come out where something's gone a bit awry and you'll find a farmhouse is 200 slots or something insane like that. The slot counts aren't too high. There's one garage here that's 23, which seems a little bit high, but other than that, nothing too bad. So like I say, once we get to this point on farm management, start from scratch, we don't have anything beyond there. We do have all the vehicles and equipment though, which is fine. So if we scroll across very quickly, I'll show you what I mean. So under animal pens, we go across all the standard fare, and then we move on to the modded stuff. 100,000. The capacities aren't that big, so that will only take 50. The pig enclosure will only take 80. The sheep pasture will only take 70. The horse paddock will take 8, which isn't too bad actually for 20 grand. The chicken coop will take 60. Again, it's not massive. You're not going to be getting 500 chickens in there or anything like that. But for 10 grand, you could place a couple of them or a few of them dotted about, or whatever you want. Silos, again, we've got the modded ones as we move further across. And we have got, I don't know if this is supposed to be bunker silos small, medium and large, because the price goes 5 grand, 7 grand, 10 grand, but they all say small. So I suppose compared to some of the others maybe they are, but it just seems a bit weird. You've got 3, but they've got 3 different prices. So it doesn't actually tell you what the capacities are. Anyway, grain silo just there for 100,000, and then that one there for 80,000. Like I say, they take the standard fruit, crops types. Decoration, I think that's where we've got all of the play sets and fences and fence posts, and like I say, these are only available on this map. So if you go onto other maps looking for these, obviously they're going to be specific to this map unless they're bought out as a separate pack. But like washing lines and barbecues, and so you can really go to town on jazzing up your farm if you want to. Farmhouses aren't too expensive either actually when you look at it. 65 grand for that one, depends how fancy you want to go in your house. And then sheds, we've got quite a few as well, but they're all down here in the modded thing, so you can just have a look in, have a find, a look about, and you'll find them. So in here then we have got, these do open rather quickly, so you kind of have to press it and get out of the way. In this one we have got, I'm pretty sure, there we go, that's our tractor I'm using, a little voucher. But these are drive-throughs. I do like a drive-through barn shelter. It makes life a lot bit easier when you've got some of the different trailers. And we've got the pig enclosure behind, which is just here. So bedding goes in this one. This little bit here is where we can buy, sell, load or unload if you want to do that. We have got our water trough just here. Our feed trough is just over that side. We'll get around to it. Feed trough is around this side. It's not massive, but I think that's what we're going for. The bison is also parked up around here, so if you're looking for it, that's your slurry point, and your manure point is just there. So that's kind of the first of the farms. Let's jump in the tractor. I think I've gone the wrong way around, haven't I? I should have gone back through the barn. There we go. And the forestry trailer is just sitting there. So the yard is quite tight on this one. They're not all as tight. But if we hook up, the traffic is insane. It just does not hang about. This isn't the fastest tractor in the world, but there are right. So wheat, barley, oats, canola, sunflower, soybean, corn, back to wheat again. So like I say, they're not multi-fruit silos, but I know there are a lot of modded ones out and extensions and all sorts of stuff now, so if you want to do multi-fruit, you absolutely can. Fuel station is just down there, but we're going to take a right and we're going to head up the western side of the map. Like I say, they've got a green car there. I think there's pink ones knocking about. There you go, pink one just over to the left there. So yeah, interesting colour palette for the cars. Nice little park there with a pond. And you'll see now as we drive forward that sweeping nature of the map. So we do have some kind of rolling hillsides, and it's not all just flat. It's got a lovely feel to it, and it feels very open. I know it weirdly in a welcoming kind of way. I know it sounds bizarre, but yeah, it's nice. Got a nice feel to this. And the plots don't look massive on the map, but they're fairly big when you get out here, and the prices aren't too expensive. And like I say, you have got that ability to buy up one bit, the next bit, the next bit, the next bit, and you can really extend them out. Do a bit of forestry, rid yourself of a few of the trees knocking about, and you've got yourself a nice big plot with a nice big field. So just on our left here, as we're heading up this side of the map, we've got the barn. So for selling hay, straw, grass, etc., the sell point is just here. I mean, it's kind of a bit of a giveaway, but that's just here. Actually, I want to check something on that, because that looks like a wood chip pile. So barn is the top one. If we scroll across, no, it's just the usual. Oh, silage. You can sell silage here as well. Of course you can. That's probably what that pile is, not wood chips. Yeah. Right. That's the barn. Continuing on. Just want to say, while I'm driving up here, Poland was lovely. Tournament 5 was absolutely quality. If you're following it, or you've kind of done a few of them, whatever. Trelleborg won the first 4 tournaments, but they couldn't attend. John Deere won Tournament 5, kind of got quite nail-biting towards the end. Komatsu Forest giving them a real run for their money. But Poznan was beautiful, lovely, lovely place. The people were so friendly and helpful. Very, very nice. My first time in Poland, and it was great. I really, really liked it. So, next up. Well, so I mean about the cars, they do not slow down for anyone. Right. So here we've got the dairy factory tucked around. I do like it does feel very kind of, real's probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It's with all the greenery, and a lot of people don't like a fussy map. They don't like yards with loads of shrubs and bushes and weeds and stuff like that. I think it gives it a more realistic feel personally. But anyway, that's the dairy factory sell point. Kind of a giveaway. You've got all the various different things. There are a lot of these trucks about. I'm pretty sure, I watched the Dagwin video way back. That simulates colours, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that simulates, and someone had done one with his logo on. I'm pretty sure. You'll see a lot of those in this map. There's a few of those trucks knocking about in various different guises. So, continuing up the map, we're going to get to... I think it's not Sawmill. Yeah, it might be Sawmill. I'm trying to think, because I had a quick look over the map yesterday when I got back from Poland. But it was quite late by the time I got in, and I hadn't seen my wife and kids for the whole weekend, so I thought, do it all today. Fresh start. Let's crack on. So, carrying on up the map. Oh, that's what I was going to do. See what I mean? Oh, that was close. I was going to turn right here and go up to the second of our farms. This isn't the fastest tractor out there. Now, this probably goes against what everyone's doing at the moment. This being Tuesday the 22nd, that everyone's going to be hitting that class DLC. It came out today. Obviously I did my videos, I was lucky enough to get an earlier version, so I did some of my videos as the kind of guide to review of on Friday before I left for Poland. But I suppose it's a bit odd doing a map review when everyone's on the class stuff. But so here's our second of our silos and the second of our farmyards. We whiz up into here. This one is our sheep. I think it was our sheep. Hop out of there. Pretty sure it's the sheep. If we come over to here and click on there. So buy, sell, load or unload is just there for sheep. The pallets are going to spawn here. That's off the floor, isn't it? Yeah, that hazard mark in there is off the floor. It's level with the bottom of the gate, but it's not actually touching the ground, is it? It's a little bit up. Feed trough this side, water trough the other side. Obviously sheep don't need bedding, so we're all good on that. We've got a second of our farmhouses just through here. Slightly bigger yard on this one, makes life a little bit easier for manoeuvring. And a few sheds, all the doors open, and a couple of these are drive-through, I think. So again, if you've got those front axled trailers, swivel axle, that are often difficult to reverse. I'm sure one of these, when I looked the other day, I had a bit of a chuckle to myself. Oh yeah, it's round here, look. Just in case. Not that one. Typically. Isn't that weird? There we go. Just in case, you know. You know what it's like, you're out in the fields doing a bit of work and think, oh, hang on. Right, so that's the second of our farm. Sorry, I digress somewhat. Like I say, if you start on Farm Manager, none of these buildings are here. So, let's head over in that direction. I will see you over there in just a second for the next of our sale points. So, on our right, we've got our horses, just sat by the side of the road, or our stable. The horses aren't actually in it yet. So for buying and selling of our horses, or loading and unloading, is just there. Here we've got the bedding for the horses, and the feed trough is just around the side there. The water trough is over that side, just touch around there. Now, there is forestry, and a fair bit of it, I'll be honest. Blimey. Slow down, you hooligan. We're coming up on grain elevator. Actually, I've just suddenly realised, hang on. It's going to be one of my bugbears. It is, isn't it? It's a small thing. What side of the map are we on? We're on the west side of the map, and that says grain elevator east. I know it's a small thing. It's just one of those things that you're like, I don't know. It's always been a little bugbear of mine. But I suppose it's east of somewhere, isn't it? It might be the western side of this map, but it is east of somewhere else, so, you know, it depends on what perspective you're looking at it. So we've got more of these trucks here, so this is grain elevator east, and we've got a lot of our forestry on this side of the map, up this side and round a little bit on the top. Quite densely packed, loads of forestry to do if you want to do forestry. I know a lot of people are torn, and you get the whole, it's not forestry simulator, it's farming simulator, why do I want to do it? But it just adds something in for people to do if they, you know, they might want to. So this is our grain elevator east sale point. More of the trucks with various different backs on. But I like the fact as well, it kind of implies that sometimes you get sale points which are a bit kind of bland. You've literally got the sale point and nothing else there. But you kind of get that feel, just having the trucks and stuff dotted about. It makes the yards a little bit trickier to get around, but you get the feeling it's a living thing, that there's stuff happening, you know, products being delivered, products being shipped off, and I don't know, I like that. I think it's a good thing. So, forestry, as far as that goes, we are up on this side of the map now. So all of this up here, these kind of almost hay-looking coloured bits here, that's all forest here. We've got some more over this side of the map here, and they're not too expensive. 513, that's quite a big plot actually, that one. I'm saying that they're not expensive. That was 121, and you get fill 12 with that. That's not too bad. Good deal on that one. 302, 218. But you're going to make your money back if you do the forestry. When you look how tightly packed the trees are on some of these, you are easily going to make that money back. And I don't know if you'd want to go to the trouble of clearing that all out and make it into fields, because realistically the field prices aren't too bad. Right, heading up to the top. The top map's got an interesting little feature which I quite like. I thought I'd show you. We've got a dike running across the top of the map. A dike has water on one side, a dam has water on both sides. It's also often called a levee, that kind of thing. Now often a dike will be there, or a levee will be there, because it's next to a river or an area which floods, and it's done to protect the farmland on this side of it, which sweeps down. Now, you can't see it from here, but just over in the top corner of that little mini-map, actually, let's just open up the map. So the river runs across the top here. So you can imagine this is kind of a floodplain, flood area, that when the river rises, it floods out across here, and what they don't want is it flooding out across all the farmland below. So you've got this big old dike and levee here, which has got a nice little path on it, so if you fancy a walk. But the grass fields this side of it, you can buy. Again, not too expensive. But it's only grass, not crops, because if that does wash out, the last thing you want is to lose your crops. But cool, I like that. It's one of those little things. It's another one of those things that doesn't have to be on the map. And if it wasn't on the map, you wouldn't know. But the fact it is on there, it just adds a little something. I like those kind of things. So again, we're going to be heading off from here. I'm going to take a right. We're going to head down into the centre of the map for a few of the sell points. So if I just do a route round the outside, I'm going to miss the stuff on the inside, so I'm just trying to make sure I get to everything. So I will see you at the next point in a moment. So we are now pretty much in the middle of the map, and we're heading up towards the sugar mill. Just here. couple of people ask me on various different maps how do you open and close gates. It's just circle. But again, it just has that feel now. You've got lorries partially loaded, lorries waiting, you've got sugar in, I assume that's supposed to be sugar, it's a sugar mill. So you've got the sugar beet in one side and you've got the product coming in, product going out. I don't know, I just like that. I like it. Swing round, come back out again. You can drive around the back, but it's quite narrow around the back of there. We're going to come out and head south again. We are going to go north again in a moment. We're going to head south down towards the Sawmill. And this is the same road we started on. When we started on the map and we were just outside the little shop, this road will bring you right down the middle of the map and take you there. But there are lots of these little offshoots and tracks and things all over the place. It doesn't have that steep, kind of almost rutted feel of Lipinki. Nice. It's weird actually looking over there. I just had this weird feel. What was the map on FS17? It's one of the Italian ones. Had that kind of big, wide open, sweeping, rolling feel to it. So this is actually quite noisy. I'm not quite sure what the sound effects is. As you get in here, there's a lot of work going on in here. But anyway, our lumber sell point is just here. I like having sound effects. Again, often you can go to a sell point, sawmills and things, and it can feel quite sterile, there's nothing happening. But there's voices of people and machinery working, and again it just adds a little something. And your wood chip sell point is just there, so that's your sawmill. What I'm going to do now, what did I say? I don't know. We're going to head north up the map, so what I'll do is a quick skipperoo, and I'll see you up the top in a minute. We're going to head back up the road we just came up, past the sugar mill, up to the third of our farms. Not everyone likes the fact that animals are separated. Some people prefer to have a farm where they're all situated in one place. Again, that's a personal choice, personal preference, and with the landscaping tool, and if you want to start on Farm Manager, you can absolutely set your farm up in one place, do a bit of landscaping and have all your animals all together. That's entirely your choice. Chickens are just here, the feed trough is there. Our buying and selling of chickens and rooster is just there. We do have rabbits, but that's where the egg boxes will come. So I looked, I thought, oh, there's a thing around, maybe we can buy rabbits, but no, that's just there for... We keep our rabbits with our chickens on this farm. The third of our farmhouses is just here. And in this one, I think we've got our... Oh, we've got a bit of machinery. Oh yes, we do have some seed. We do have a bit of liquid fertiliser from Cortiva, by the way. Just get that in there. Proud sponsor of Farming Simulator League. That one doesn't open, but I think this one does. There we go. There we go. There's our fence. So the fence tucked in here, the 313. So that's the third of our farmyards. Little bits of machinery. Oh yeah, there's a wood chip pile there. I knew that it was about on the map somewhere, but that's a placeable, and there's a few bits and bobs here. So, moving on. We are heading up to the northwest, no, the northeast corner of the map. It's easily done, isn't it? To the distillery. Something we don't often have on maps. And at the end of the day, the name of the sell point, it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. What you sell there is what's the kind of important part of it. But I like the fact it's the grain sell point, and you've got your wheat and your barley and stuff like that. And if you're making wheat beer, if you're going to be making malt, you need barley. I think it's clever. If you're going to be, there's various different ways you can make sorts of whiskies and things like that. So the distillery is in the northeastern part of the map, just up here, and then we're going to head down the eastern side, the last of the sell points. I like it. It's got a nice feel to it, this map. And I like the fact all the sell points are different. There you go. So the offload point there. When you come round and out this way, we've got barrels. Metal firkins and all sorts of things. It's nice little touch. Another bit of forest just over on this side here. Like I say, the forestry's thing. Now we're going to head down the eastern side of the map. We've got a couple of sell points, I think. We've got the animal dealership to look at, and the fourth of the farms. Oh, and the biogas plant, of course we have. Mustn't forget that. So, let's see if I don't crash into anything. We are over here at the distillery. We are now heading down this way. We're going to do biogas plant. We're going to do the fourth of the farms and the animal dealership on the way down. And there's obviously a bit more forestry down the side of this map here. So, got back to that just in time before I veered off into the bushes and across someone's field, which they wouldn't be very happy about. Now, I know often it's weird how you can do a map tour, you can do a guide to, and there might be loads and loads of mods and that kind of thing. And it's always the one thing you miss, or the one thing you don't mention will be the one thing that someone asks about. I often get asked about water on a map. Actually, I'm going further and further out the way because the road is actually down here. It veers off. There's not another way to get to. Well, you can go cut straight the field. People ask about water. Do the farmyards have water sources? Is there? And on, well, even on FS17, it wasn't as much of a problem because there are mods for standpipes, water tanks, water towers. You know, there are so many that I don't think that's as relevant as it used to be. I know on FS15 having a water source and somewhere to go and get water, and that was far more important. But it's not so much now because if the yard hasn't got one, it's very easy to place one and fairly cheap to place one, and doesn't really into your slot counts. Two quite large bunker silos, kind of very slab-sided. Digester is just over here. And our digestate tank, the byproduct, is just over here for collection of the byproduct if you want to use it as a fertiliser. So that's our biogas plant. There is plenty of traffic about. I mean, like I say, I know on parts of the map they seem to be driving like maniacs, and they are a little bit quicker than the tractors, which is a good thing in so much as realistically tractors will move on roads far slower than traffic will. On a lot of maps the traffic is slower than the tractors. Obviously it depends what tractor you're driving. Some of the tractors are quite quick, but like that, that's just a maniac. The ducks on the ponds make cracking sounds, which is quite lovely. You know, it's just, oh, it's nice. It's nice. So I am unfortunately going to cut across the field because over there is the fourth farm, and there's not actually. I think I've just passed it, haven't I? It was back there. I could have gone right then left. But what we'll do is we'll cut down across here. Oh, actually, hang on. We might have a track coming up. We have got a track coming up. We're alright. Not that you were panicking, but don't panic. It's all good. So, farm number 4. And this will be for our cows. So another silo. Actually, yeah, did I show you silo wise? Scroll back across. Obviously on New Farmer we do start with some crop in the tanks. The first of the farms we looked at, there was nothing in that silo, so I'm not sure which of the silos, because I didn't bring the trailer with me, which I should have done really, shouldn't I? Actually has the crop in, but we do start with it. And our bunker silo with the tyres around it that we start off with is just here, kind of inbuilt into the very fabric of this farm. Our cows are over here. Bedding goes in there. You can put feed into that one if you want to. Slurry pit is just here. Manure is just here. Come around to this side here. This is where we're going to collect our milk from. Triggers are actually quite tight in on that. And our buying, selling, loading or unloading is done from just here for our cows. The troughs themselves, water trough is there. I think the feed trough is just the one inside. I don't think there's another one out there. And then we've got more barn space, shed space. Again, they're not huge shelters, they're not huge barns. You're not going to get massive machinery in these, so you might want to sell some of these off and place larger shelters if you're going to go for a slightly larger farm machinery farm. And the fourth of our farmhouses is just there. So, last but by no means least will be the animal dealership, and I think we'll have been around the whole map, I think, pretty much. As I always say, it's well worth just, you know, jumping on. If you think it's a map you want to play on, but you're not 100% certain, jump on the map, have a drive around, get a feel for it. There are going to be things I've missed, bits I've missed, parts of the map I've missed. Often a lot of map makers will put in nice little features, not Easter eggs as such, but hidden little things that you'll come across while you're doing stuff, and that's always quite nice. And that's kind of part of the exploring the map, and you'll find you'll be in a part of the map you haven't been to before, and you'll find something interesting or different, or something that will make you smile, and I like that when map makers do that. So yeah, get on the map and have a search around, find things, you know. And this is quite cool, and this is a little bit different as well, that we do still have lorries, but these aren't the blue and kind of maroon, blue and purple. This is our animal dealership. We've got these ones here. Oh, there you go. Get flattened by the traffic. So buying and selling or collecting of can be done from here. A few more trucks around the back. But yeah, all in all, a nice map. You know, like I say, nice big open space, loads of options, and I really do think with the prices of the fields, it is well suited to someone possibly new to the game, or if you are going to do start from scratch, and it can be a real grind on start from scratch. The ability to buy small plots and gradually build up from there is nice. I like that. It's not overly cluttered. There's not too much going on. I know not everybody likes having fields where you've got a lot of these trees dotted, but there is the modded T-Rex Trex 600. You can grind those out really quickly. If you want to lease one of those, go around and do a bit of work, or you know, however you want to do it, it's entirely to you, and that's the beauty of this game. Play it the way you want to play it, do it the way you want to do it. So there you go. I missed a selling point. Selling station 2. We're coming up on it now. There was me saying the animal dealership was the last one. It wasn't, because I took a little... When we started off on the map, I took a little fork in the road and took us down to the shop. I didn't come straight down and come to the sell point just here. So, just round here. There we go. Tucked in the corner there. I do apologise. So that is... so I've got a selling station 2. So we're just at the animal dealership. Come along here. And we are at selling station 2. We started off just here. I came down and took that fork, and we came down to the lime station shop, and I missed out that selling point. So I do apologise for that. So anyway, with that selling point being done, we have come to the end of the map tour. I hope you got a feel for it. I hope you found it useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest, whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.